Good morning, students. My name is Samuel Chukwu Emeka. Welcome to this video segment. In this video, we shall add compound numbers in the United States Customary System. Before you begin this video, it is recommended that you view the videos on conversion between units in the U.S. Customary System and conversion among units in the U.S. Customary System. You do need to view those videos and understand them before you continue with this video. Now, why do we have to add compound numbers? Why? Why are we learning this? Because this has several applications in the technical fields, like in carpentry. In carpentry, a carpenter might have maybe two pieces of wood that he needs to join together. He might want to measure the length of the first piece of wood, and when he measures it, he probably won't get an exact unit. Let's say he probably won't get like 5 feet. He might get 5 feet, then 6 inches, because of the calibration of the measuring tape. So he will now be faced with 2 units, and then he needs to measure the second piece of wood, which might also end up in him having 2 units. Then he will need to add the 2 pieces together to find the total length of the wood that he wants to join. Okay, he needs to measure each piece so that he will know, maybe is he going to cut off a particular length from a particular piece, to know the exact amounts that he wants to join, so that he can achieve the exact length of the wood he wants to join. So he will need to add both lengths, and that means working in compound units. Somebody might be asked to measure distance in both miles and rods. Okay. Also, in the machine tool workshop, one might be asked to cut a particular sheet of metal to a particular length, and he might be asked to cut it in a particular length in yards and feet. So you see that he needs to know the exact, to know how to add and subtract compound numbers for him or her. I'm sorry, I'm using she also, so that the person, he or she, can reliably do his or her job. Okay, so we have to, in this video, we will just add the numbers in different units. So let's start with the first example. 5 feet 6 inches plus 7 feet 3 inches. So when we look at this question, usually the smaller unit is the right and the bigger unit is the left. The bigger unit comes first and then the smaller unit. So the bigger unit is feet and the smaller unit is inches. So that's the way we write it. Bigger unit comes first, then the smaller unit. Okay. Before you add this, okay, you start with the smaller units. You start with the first grade before you go to second grade. So you start 6 inches plus 9 inches. 6 inches plus 3 inches is 9 inches. Then after adding it, you now ask yourself, what is the relationship between inches and feet? So in the previous videos, we saw that the 12 inches make 1 feet. So, but we have 9 inches, right? And 9 inches is less than 12 inches. So because 9 inches is less than 12 inches, we don't have to do anything again. We just write 9 inches because it's less than 12 inches. Now, if it was bigger than 12 inches, then we have to convert to feet and see what we can do to add up to the feet that we have, which we shall look in other examples. But now it's less than 12 inches, so we write it as it is. Then 5 feet plus 7 feet gives 12 feet. And our answer becomes 12 feet and 9 inches. Okay? Question 2. 3 rods, 4 yards, plus 2 rods, 1 yard. We start with the smaller unit, which is the yard. We add it up. 4 plus 1 is 5. Then we ask ourselves, what is the relationship between yard and rod? So we see that 1 rod is 5.5 yards. Yeah, but we have 5 yards here. So which is less than 5.5. So because it's less than 5.5, we now leave it as it is. 4 plus 1 is 5 yard, right? And then 3 plus 2 is 5 rod. Yeah. We notice that 1 rod is 5.5 yards. So it's 5 is less than 5.5. So we just leave it as it is and write it that way. Okay. So this becomes our answer: 5 rods, 5 yards. Question 3. 1 mile, 150 rods, plus 1 mile, 285 rods. So we start from the smaller unit to the right. 150 plus 285 gives us 435. 435. So we now ask ourselves, what is the relationship between 435, between rods and miles? So we see that 1 mile is equal to 320 rods. Okay, so we now see that in this case 435 is bigger than 320. So what we do is, we can actually do this 2 ways, like I explained in previous videos, but I'm just going to do it 1 way. Okay, well, I can show you the 2 ways, and then whichever way you like, you pick. But the easiest way is you subtract the excess, because 1 mile is 320 rods. So when you have 435 rods, there's an excess, right? You subtract the excess by saying 435 minus 320. Okay, and that becomes 115 rods. Okay, this 320 rod is actually 1 mile. This 320 rod is actually 1 mile, which you will now have to add here. When you subtract the excess, you have 115 rod. Then this 320 rod that you subtracted is actually a 1 mile, which you now have to add to this as well. And when you now add it now gives you 3 miles. Okay, and this becomes your answer. Now, let me explain this question again using another method. Some people might do it this way. They might do it this way. They might say, okay, let's do it by proportion. So they might say 1 rod is, 1 mile. 1 mile is 320 rods. So 435 rods will be how many? Okay, how many miles? They want to convert to miles, then the excess they now convert, then the excess they will now add it. Yeah, although this is like a longer method. And you know, if you watch the previous videos, we need to divide. So we just do 320 divide 435, and 320 divide 435, we have 1 times 320 is 320. Then when you subtract, you now have 115. Now this one means 1 mile. Okay, it means 1 mile. Let me use another color. 1 mile, and then this 115 means 115 rods. So that's another way to look at it. Okay, that's another way to look at it. Now, another way to look at it is actually going through the division process, and you get a decimal, and then you pick the integer part. Of course, if you finish this division process, it will give you a decimal, 1 point something, and then you pick the integer part as 1 mile, then the decimal part you multiply by you convert that decimal part, which is still in miles, back to rods. And how do you convert it back to rods? By multiplying by 320. Yeah. Now, from the videos I did previously, we said let's use the unity fraction method, and the unity fraction method is exactly this, what I just did. Okay, you have of course, the quotient to be 1, and that is the mile, then the remainder to be in rods. Okay, next question. 12 yards 2 feet 8 inches plus 10 yards 2 feet 7 inches. So here we have 3 units, and is arranged in descending order. Yard is bigger than feet, and feet is bigger than inches. We have to still use the same principle. Okay, we start from the smaller unit. 8 inches plus 7 inches gives us 15 inches. We ask ourselves, what is the relationship between inches and feet? We see that 12 inches make 1 foot, right? So, but we have 15 inches. So we can subtract the excess. Okay, 15 minus 12, because 12 inches is 1 foot. So we bring out 12 inches from it, gives us 1 foot, and then we subtract the excess. 15 minus 12 is 3. So we now have 3 inches remaining. Okay, or you can, if you don't understand it that way, you can break it, you can do it in proportion, and you will have to do 12 divide 15. And of course, the integer part, the quotient is 1, and the remainder is 3. So the quotient that is 1 is in feet now, and the remainder that is 3 is in inches. Then you now do 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 2, 5. 5 feet. You ask yourself, what is the relationship between feet and yards? So we see that 3 feet make 1 yard. 3 feet make 1 yard. So when you have 5 feet, right? You subtract the excess, 5 minus 3. It is remaining 2 feet. 2 feet. And that excess you subtracted 1 yard. Okay? We have 1 yard here. 1 yard here. Yeah. Or another way you can do it is to do a 3 divide 5. Okay? 3 divide 5. 1 times 3, 3, and 2. The quotient is 1, which is in yard, and the remainder is 2, which is in feet. So you now do 1 yard plus 12 yards, 13 yards plus 10 yards, which gives us now 23 yards. So our answer becomes 23 yards, 2 feet, 3 inches. Question 5. 6 feet 3.38 inches plus 4 feet 1.5 inch plus 8 feet, 10 1/4 inches. Okay, don't be scared of fractions, please. Don't be scared of fractions. I mean, the same way we've been doing it is the same way we will still do fractions. But you need to know how to add fractions. It's going to help you. So what we have to do is, of course, we have to add 3/8 plus 1/2 plus 10 1/4. And this gives us 27/8. 27/8 plus, excuse me, if you convert it to improper fractions, plus 3/2 plus 41/4. Okay, so they have different denominators, so you have to give them a common denominator, and the common denominator, the least common denominator, is 8. That's of 2, 4, and 8. So what will you do to 8 to get 8? You multiply by 1. Whatever you do to the denominator, you still do to the numerator. It's just like finding an equivalent fraction of it. Then you ask yourself, what are you going to do to 2 to give you 8? You multiply by 4. Whatever you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. So 3 times 4 is 12. So 12/8 is an equivalent fraction of 3/2. What will you do to 4 to give you 8? You multiply by 2. Equivalent fraction of this will now be 82/8. So when you do that, you have a 121/8 when you add it up, and it gives you a 15 whole number 1/8. If you convert it back to a mixed number, so 15 whole number 1/8 inches. Okay, then you ask yourself, what is the relationship between inches and feet? We see that 12 inches make 1 foot. So we have an excess here. Okay, 15 1/8. 15 whole number 1/8 inches is greater than 12 inches. So if we bring out 12 inches, which makes 1 foot, we subtract the excess, okay, or we can divide, and the quotient will give us the feet, and the remainder will give us the inches. Now when we subtract 12, 15 1/8 minus 12, okay, if I have to erase this, let me erase it and show you. Now, when we set it up and then divide, divide 12 and 15 1/8, we have a 1 as the quotient, and this will be 3 1/8. Okay, so this is the quotient becomes the feet, right? And the 3 1/8 becomes the remainder becomes the inches, and we have an 1 feet here. Okay, which will now add 1 plus 6 is 7 plus 4 11 plus 8 19. So our answer becomes 19 feet 318 inches. Question 6. 3 yard 2 feet plus 5 yard 1/4 feet plus 9 yards 2 3/4 feet. We start from the minor unit. So 2 plus 1/4 plus 3 plus 2 3/4. Okay, so when we do this, when you add it up, 2/1, 1/4, then 4 times 2, 8 plus 3, 11/4, right? Of course, this is like saying 2 plus 12/4, right? 2 plus 12/4. Rather than solving it as fraction, we can easily get it. So which is 2 plus 3, which is 5. So we have 5 feet. Then you check the relationship between feet and yards. We see that 3 feet make 1 yard, right? So you divide, and the quotient is 1 and the remainder is 2, or you subtract the excess, which gives you 5 minus 3, which is 2. So here will be 2 feet, right? And you have 1 yard here, 1 yard here. And when you add 1 plus 3, 4 plus 5, 9 plus 9, 18, we have 18 yards. Yeah, we just did it like we've been doing it. So that's it. Question 7. 4 yard 2 feet 3 1/2 inch plus 7 yard 0 feet 9 inch plus 4 yard 2 feet 0 inch. Okay, as usual, we add it up from the smaller unit. 3 1/2 plus 9. Of course, when we do 3 1/2 plus 9 plus 0, okay, we have we have a 12 1/2. Yeah, because this is like saying 3 plus 1/2 plus 9 plus 0. So we have 12 1/2. You can also solve it as a fraction. It's not a problem. Then you have that you check the relationship between inches and feet. We see that 12 inches make 1 foot. So when we subtract the excess, or when we divide 12, when we do 12 divide 12 and 1/2, the quotient is 1, which goes to the feet, and the remainder is 1/2, which goes to the inches. Okay, so then we now do 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 feet. We check the relationship between yard and feet. We see that 3 feet make 1 yard, right? So when we divide 3 and 5, the quotient and the remainder, we have here 1 yard. 1 is the quotient, which goes to the yard, and 2 is the remainder, which goes to feet. Okay, then 1 plus 4, 5. 5 plus 7, 12. 12 plus 4, 16. 16 yard. So we have a 16 yards, 2 feet, 1/2 inch. 16 yard, 2 feet, 1/2 inch. And that becomes the answer. 3 miles, 76 rods, 2 yards, plus 2 miles, 150 rods, 3 1/4 yards, plus 1 mile, 200 rods, 5 yards. Okay, we start with the smallest unit, so we add up 2 plus 3, 1/4 plus 5. That gives us 7 plus 3, 1/4, right? And that gives us 10 1/4. 10 1/4. Okay, we check how many yards make, what's the relationship between yards and rods, right? We see that 1 rod is 5.5 yards. 1 rod is 5.5 yards. So we can actually go ahead and subtract, we can divide, and we get the quotient and remainder. 5.5 yards is 5 1/2, and then 10 1/4, right? So we have 1, which is our quotient, and that quotient will go to rod, and the remainder will be, if we subtract it, when we subtract it, we'll have 19/4. 19/4. Okay. Subtracting it, you can convert it to improper fraction, and then subtract. Okay. I can also, another way I can do this. This is 19/4. Yeah. Now let me explain this again, because I know some of you don't like fractions. Now another way I can do this, let me erase this, is after having 10 1/4, what I can do is I express it in proportion. I say that one rod is 5.5 yards. Of course, I have rod and yard. 1 here, 5.5, and then when I add up everything, I had a 10 1/4 yards. So 10 1/4, and I have x here. Okay, so my x, this 5.5x will be 10 1/4, right? And I do x will be 10 1/4 divided by 5.5. And if we still do it as fraction, this is 40 1/4 divided by 5.5 is 11/2 if you express it as fraction. And when you change the division to multiplication, 40 1/4 times 2/11, that gives you 41/22, right? I've got to erase this again. And then 41/22, 41 divided by 22 gives you 41 divided by 22 gives you one whole number, 19/22. Okay, but this is not, this is in rods. Okay, so this is like saying 1 rod plus 19/22 rods, right? So you take that 1 rod here, and then you have to go back and convert 19/22 rods. Okay, you still have rod and yard. Although, you know, I explained this in previous videos, and I said it was cumbersome, this method. But this method is very reliable, very, very reliable. You have 1 here, you have 5.5. Then you now have 19/22 here, and you have y. So your y is to multiply it, 19/22 times 11 times 11/2. No, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. This 19/22 should be here. It should actually be under yards, not rods. This is actually when you divide this, right? No, I'm sorry, I got it. The 19/22, you write it here. I'm sorry. 19/22, you write it here. And this is y. So you multiply it, 19/22 times 5.5, which is 11/2, right? And this will cross out, and you have 19/4, 19/4 yards. So that's another way to do it. Okay. So we now have 1 plus 76, which is 77, plus 350. Which gives us 427 rods. Now we have that 1 mile. We check the relationship between miles and rods, and we see that 1 mile is 320 rods. We subtract 320 from 427, and it gives us 427 minus 320. It gives us 107 rod, and we bring the excess here. 1 mile. We bring the excess here, 1 mile. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7. 7 miles. Now, you know, sometimes when you're in the shop, you need to use a lot of mental work. So it's like I mentioned 3 methods. Doing it mentally, you know the excess, you subtract and you add the remaining, or dividing, and when you divide, the integer part is the one you carry over and add, the remainder is the one you keep. Or you do it by proportion, that's the longest one, but that one is very reliable. But sometimes when you're in the shop, if you notice, for the last few questions I did, I try to do mainly mental work. You kind of want to be fast, and because you're timed, you can't do your job for a long. You don't have all the time, so we want. By the time you solve more examples of this, you should be good to be able to do a lot of mental work and get it right. Thank you so much for listening. Please watch out for the next video on subtraction of compound numbers. Thank you, and you have a great day.